que vean. Pero let's talk about champions, because the final is upon us. May 30th, the very last club engagement of this season before we move fully into the World Cup mode. PSG versus Arsenal, the best team of the group stage versus the former champion or the current champion of Champions League. Let's start with the most important thing. We have two very different coaches, two Spanish coaches. On one side, Mikel Arteta. On the other side, Luis Enrique. Both proven, both with domestic titles, both with great performances as players with the Spanish team. Chiva, does any of the two coaches have an edge on this, the most important game of their career?
Of course. I think Luis Enrique is building a legacy with PSG. For years, many, many years, PSG struggled to even make it to a final, having Neymar, Messi, you name it, almost Cristiano Ronaldo. And right now, you know, putting out Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe, PSG is finally winning the championships that they want. They're the current champions with the champions for the Champions League, and I think that he has a huge edge when it comes to the final.
The motivation, we see in PSG, just the way they play. Camila, the offensive power of PSG, the way that we see every time they go as visitors, they have been overperforming. Now we have the final in Budapest, in the Puskás Stadium. Do you feel that that edge that Arsenal has, that they're really good at home, they were, you know, almost no goals against them at home, they have to go to a new stadium where PSG knows to go to foreign line and still be dangerous?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is where the mentality really wins it. You know, these are two top teams, so at the end of the day, it's about minimizing those mistakes, and I think that PSG is just such a huge threat. The offensive power that they have is incredible, and I think it's going to take a really solid defense for Arsenal, you know, to stay in the game. And it's those first 15, 20 minutes that PSG just really, you know, depends on that offensive power to overwhelm their opponent. So I think that's where Arsenal has to lock it down.
Now, Brujo, I know you know this. Tell me some names that will make PSG stand out during the game. Obviously, we have the obvious one, Dembélé, the candidate for the Ballon d'Or for the second time in a row, probably the most dangerous forward in Champions League. But who are the secret elements of PSG that make this team so dangerous?
I mean, I definitely think it's going to have to be players like Doué, you know, who is really young, but he is definitely showing that Jogo Bonito style, even though he's French. But we also have players like João Neves that have been, you know, staying consistent throughout the season, scoring goals left and right, assisting beautifully. And overall, this team has been playing beautiful, but I think something that needs to be brought up too is the players that are injured and that might make it to the deadline. We don't know. Players like Hakimi, Nuno Mendes, and then on the other side we have Ben White on Arsenal, Timber. So we have to see if these players are going to be able to make it back in time and see if they're going to be crucial enough to, you know, get the win.
A moment in the season that...
Speaking of concerns, my biggest concern is we're 11 days away from the World Cup, and then you have this game that is going to mean they're going to go with everything. Imagine an injury before the World Cup for key players that we're expecting to see in the World Cup. I think that's as a player, how do you approach this game? It's a Champions League, but then on the other hand, you have what is the most important event for a player, which is the World Cup. So I think it's something to think about as a player. And
I mean, we've definitely already seen it, not even just in like big games, but just throughout the season, players have been getting injured left and right. Like one, for example, is Estevao from Chelsea. He's going to be missing out on his first World Cup with Brazil, and he's a very crucial player in my opinion. So, I mean, if we're seeing that list is going to grow.
And we've talked about it, the overload of games for the players that we love so much to watch. These guys are playing, and the girls too, but the guys are playing up to 85 games if you count preseason, exhibition games, domestic league, playoffs, international competition, continental competition, club and country. If you are one of the top players in the world, not only you have to play at the highest level because you are expected to do so by the fans, by the coaches, by the opponents, but you have to do it twice, sometimes 3 times a week. This is gruesome. And sometimes also the commercial pressure of like the sponsorships, popularity, having to have like, you know, this whole system. It's very hard, and I feel for them because for us, watching at home is great. We flip the channel. We see so much soccer all the time.
We're on our couch eating.
We're on our couch. It's like, oh, man, you're not playing as well as I wanted you to. You're not covering the spread.
As we have a bowl of chips on our stomach watching the game, right? Like, I would have made that.